Welcome to the Leafy podcast, helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs grow.
Let's start the show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leafy Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Tammy Gearling, the podcast manager. And today we have our hostess, Jennifer Glorich. And she has a very special guest with us today. We're going to be interviewing. So I will go ahead and just pass it off to Jennifer now so she can get started.
Hey guys. Oh, thank you. So, hey guys, we have somebody who's in a niche that's very near and dear to my heart. So the person that we have came here about 25 years ago from Ghana. And then they came here and now they travel the country as a motivational speaker, coach. They help other entrepreneurs. They help them turn their lives around. They're based on the East Coast. Super cool. They've been married and an entrepreneur themselves for the past 17 years. And so let me give a great big Leafy podcast welcome to Eugene Boakye. Hi, Eugene.
Hi, everyone.
How are you today?
It's awesome. Beautiful day. I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Oh, we're doing really good. And I'm excited to get to talk to you. So you've been working the last 15 years with John Maxwell, right? That team. Oh, yeah, it's on your shirt.
Yeah. I've been working with them for some years now.
You just have to point to it. That's good. So so you came to America. Was it because your family relocated here? What made you decide to come over here? And
I came here with my parents.
Oh, okay.
Some years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole story that maybe I'll get a chance to share just a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. But I came here because my parents decided they want to travel, and that opportunity came, and we all came along with my brothers and sisters. So that's how I came here.
Well, that's awesome. And so then you decided to be not then you decided. So you meet the love of your life, and then you also decide to be an entrepreneur around the same time. And that was about 17 years ago. What did you try first before joining the John Maxwell team?
Oh, man, I like many other people with dreams and vision, I've tried just about everything. You know, I've tried washing dishes, and I found out quickly that that's not what I want to do. I've tried delivering, pizza for Pizza Hut, and I got tired of that. I said, no, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I tried so many other things, and like many other people, we try one thing and we realize that that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
For most people, they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and the results doesn't change.
Right.
Until I decided that, you know what, until I find out what I really love doing, I gotta be on the hunt. And so that's what got me to John Maxwell, and I realized that that's where I wanted to be.
And you hit the sweet spot. Yeah, I decided I didn't want to be a dishwasher either, but then I had kids, and I swear that's like my second job. I just sit there scrubbing all the time. So tell me now, what inspires you? What inspires you to do what you do and travel all over the country? And tell me a little bit about that.
What inspires me is really leadership, just change, and I'm speaking from my own experience. I love to see people change, get good results. And at the end of the day, that's what really inspires me. So I speak from my own experience. There's something that John Maxwell says that is really, I think is powerful. He says our leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So the ability to influence people to get positive results is what really motivates me. And I think so many people out there need that kind of influence so that they can get different results. So when I go about traveling, speaking, and I see people's lives change, and I get people to come to me and say, hey, man, I'm really excited, and I got really something good from what you shared today. It really gives me the energy to go and do what I do. So just changing people's lives from one state to another, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. That's what I love doing.
So how do you, all coaches that I talk to, and I've, I'm in this space, so I've talked to many different coaches in leadership, and I'm always fascinated about their personal story, because there's always something that happened or something they overcame that has propelled them to have passion. I want to see people have asset protection, because I was homeless for quite some time as a teenager, and I had to navigate the streets, live in a tent, live in the Covenant House homeless shelter, and then try to go to college all by myself. And I saw so many families that went from having a roof over their head, thinking everything was going to be fine, to suddenly, they're in the bread line with me. And I'm like, what happened to you? Your parents. And he's like, well, I lost my job. She lost her job. And then a couple weeks later, that's it. Fees, they're in an apartment. They don't have a home. They don't have the leeway a home gives them. And I just think, man, there's so many ways you can prevent that from happening. I mean, it still is happening. It's happening now really bad in some places, but there are ways that even poor people can try to insulate it a little bit. So that's what propels me to do what I do. Tell me about like your story. Like what is in your story that makes it so rewarding for you to bring out leadership and to change the people's lives that you meet?
Yeah, so my story, my journey began way in Africa before I made the trip here. And so I'll share just a little bit about where I was and where I am today, and sort of give somebody hope today, and let them know this hope, right? So I grew up very, very poor, in a poor family, right? My mom and dad were middle school teachers. Their income was no more than $50 for the whole month. And they were raising 4 siblings. The house that I lived in, when it rained, I mean, literally, it gets soaked. I have to wait till it stopped raining before I can go to bed. And I remember mopping the floor before we can go back to sleep. I mean, we were that poor. Now, I always make the joke that if you were to spell poor, how poor we were, it would go like POOOOOOOOOOOOR. It was so many O's in between the R, you would lose count.
I have the same joke. I actually tell people I was so poor at one time, I spelled it P-O, Po, because I couldn't afford the other O and R. So, yeah, it's the same thing though. No, go ahead. So tell me the rest. I'm with you.
So that's where we were. I remember my parents couldn't celebrate my birthday because that's how poor we were. I never remember anybody celebrating my birthday for about 12 years or so. Not once did I recall anybody saying happy birthday or celebrating my birthday. Not because they didn't want to, because they just didn't have the money to do that. We were just that poor. And I remember just growing up with resentment. I was bitter. I wasn't excited about life. I got into trouble because, I didn't think I was going to make it, Yeah. And, but I learned my father, who had a different attitude, he never quit. He never gave up. Opportunity came for him to play. I'm not sure if you guys know about the U.S. lottery, that people play outside the country and they get the opportunity to come to this country.
Actually, the father of my child won the lottery from Serbia during the war. And he was an engineer, and his sister happened to win it. She was a doctor. And when I met him, he lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with his sister, her husband, also a doctor, their 2 kids in a 1-bedroom apartment, trying to keep it under wraps because there are laws on tenancy laws, how many adults you can have. And they were getting paid $10 an hour. He didn't have a car, and he walked to work as a waiter, and he couldn't speak English. And he wasn't even a waiter, I'm sorry. He was a busboy, because he couldn't even ask somebody, do you want eggs? And when I met him, he was this really cute waiter. And there was something about him, and I was, I saw his name,
Yeah.
And I realized it's not an American name and he's hot. And so I like, flirted. And then he said, yeah, he was an engineer. He was looking for a job, and I was a recruiter at the time. My mother had owned the largest staffing company in our area. When I went through my homelessness, she was going through horrible times. Like my whole family broke apart. That if you see it now, you'd think I had a silver spoon in my mouth. But at that time, it all crapped out. So she was sober, still running the company. She always kept the company going, but the mom thing kind of fell through the wayside with other problems. And so we had reconciled after many years of not even talking. And I said, I can put you to work. I kind of lied and said I had a job that I was really thinking about him for. I didn't. I just wanted to go on a date. And the second date, I never left his house, and we were married 6 months later. So.
Oh, wow.
So that's how that works. So yeah, I understand the Lotto now. They're all citizens. His sister owns a allergist. She's a doctor of allergy medicine, so she's an allergist. Yeah, an allergy practice in San Antonio. And I did place him in a job that he's still in to this day. And and then he also runs a company that I helped build for him. So yeah, I understand with the Lotto.
That's interesting. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of where my story began. And
wait, so your dad won the Lotto?
My dad won the Lotto, and it was kind of interesting because he was in school teaching, and one of the staff members came to him and told him, hey, today's the last day that you can apply for the lottery. If you want to, you can. It's the last day. It closes today. So if you want to, you can. Everybody in the school applied, and he was the last one because he didn't know. When he got the message, he didn't even have the money. It would cost maybe 50 cents to go get the paperwork and apply with his passport picture. He didn't have the money. So he said, you know what? I don't care. I'll go borrow the money. I'll try. My dad was that kind of person. He was persistent. He never gave up. He never quit. And he borrowed the money and he played the Lotto. And would you believe that he was the only one who won the Lotto out of all the people that applied in his school? Nobody won but him.
Wow.
Last minute. And he was the only one who was chosen. And he had all his children on the Lotto, me and my other 3 siblings. And so that's how our situation changed. And and I kind of learned something from that in hindsight, from my dad and in being a leader, that, there's one powerful principle that I learned, that, everything is subject to change. Oftentimes we get hung up because we look at our current situation and then we think it's never going to change. And then we put all the energy that we have and all our energy on thinking about how it's not working versus how it can work. My dad was that kind of person. Sometimes we just need to borrow other people's belief until our own belief can kick in. And, I had to borrow my dad's belief for some time because he was that kind of person that he believed no matter what.
Wow.
And the door opened up for him. And it wasn't just him, it was for everybody else. And so, I learned just one powerful principle, that everything is subject to change. And if your life is not going well, if things aren't what you plan it to be, don't give up. Don't quit. Don't keep trying. Don't keep knocking on the door. Don't keep believing. Quit knocking on the door. Don't quit. Don't stop. That door will open up for you if you just keep persisting.
But you have to take the action. Your dad could have said, well, it's the last day. I don't have the money. But he didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Yeah. He borrowed the money. He borrowed the money. You see, it's when opportunity shows up, it's too late to prepare. And an optimist is always looking for a way to make it happen versus looking for a way to not make it happen.
Right.
So my dad was always looking for the opportunity, even though he was poor, but he had a mindset of a rich man. He knew life could change. He knew all it takes is just one opportunity and everything changes. And that was the drive. And sure enough, life will give to you whatever you demand of it, if you're willing to demand it. And my dad was that kind of person. He demanded life to give to him what he persistently was pursuing. And that door opened up to him. And here I am today. My life will change, and hundreds and thousands of people's lives will be changed because of one man who failed, who did not quit, refused to give up. So, there are audience people that may be listening today, right? And they're on the verge of committing suicide or giving up or quitting, sitting in front of the couch, watching TV all day, 24 hours, and just falling into depression. And all they have to do is just change their mindset and go outside and knock on the door and talk to somebody and have a different mindset, and things can change.
See, we talk about people with real estate investing like that. So many people are at jobs that are just not nourishing them, right? And then there's two sides to that. Life isn't a bed of roses. Life is difficult. You have to work hard, and you have to give the action. You've got to get up every day, and you've got to give your best. So you still have to do that. You can't just lay there and take selfies all day and be a millionaire. Even the people who seem to do that, they work hard at it to be able to make anything.
Absolutely.
And so they sit there, and you're just like it doesn't have to be everything, but tiny little steps towards the goal. If you don't give up, you're going to see something happen, but you do have to every now and then take that leap of faith. Maybe it's hire a coach. Maybe you're stuck. And
Absolutely.
if you're stuck, hey, we got Eugene here. Just give him a call and say, hey, I'm stuck, Eugene. I've done all this. I feel like I'm a hamster in a wheel. And
Absolutely.
Get another set of eyes, because it's invaluable. Sometimes somebody like Eugene can come in and he'll go, okay, so talk to me about where you're at and what you've done. And he'll say, okay, you've done a lot. You've done everything. But have you thought about this? Or I know this guy, or something. And then all of a sudden, that little wall that you'd been hitting goes, and everything can kind of explode. You just need a little bit of help. Don't be afraid to ask for help either.
Absolutely.
Like his dad did. He didn't say, oh God, I'm so broke. He said, you know what? I just need a little bit of help. Hey, can I borrow 50 cents?
Absolutely.
And look what happened.
He borrowed it.
Right.
Went and borrowed the money. He knew he didn't have the money to pay it, but he was willing to take risk. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. People like to play it safe. If you play it safe, you always get what you always got. The people that risk it are willing to take the risk, and are willing to take the benefits as well. Mm-hmm. And there's another part, something I want to share with your audience. When I was growing up, I loved Christmas. Mm-hmm. I just love Christmas. Was one of those things that I look forward to. But I started to not like Christmas because I love chicken. I don't know if anybody loves chicken like I do.
I think everybody loves chicken, though,
just
right?
Love chicken, pulled chicken, right? I just love chicken. I just love chicken, right? Mm. But we were so poor that we only ate chicken once a year, just once during Christmas. Because my father, they couldn't afford it. So think about it. The average person that lives in the United States can't can't put their mind around eating chicken once a year, right?
No, people have chicken every other day. Some people have chicken twice a day. I mean, no, that's not something we can even think about. I mean, is it actual chicken? Who knows? Most of our food's plastic at this point, but we think it's chicken. Tastes like chicken, at least that's what we're told chicken tastes like. Anyway, so you had chicken once a year, so this is like you're down, man.
Yeah, right. And the part of the chicken that I loved the best was the chicken, the breast, the meaty part, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, I never got that part. I always got the chicken feet.
Oh. Chicken feet are difficult too. I've had chicken feet in gumbo. It's actually real good in gumbo, but you're having to like really gnaw on the feet and kind of pull it. Yeah.
Chicken feet, bones and nails and not properly cut. I just.
Man, this is a sad story, Eugene. Having to eat on the dang chicken feet now. Okay, so we're down.
Right?
We're down. Christmas. Okay. Thanks a lot, Santa Claus.
Where's Santa Claus, right? I'm looking for the chicken breast. I want the mini part, right? But for some reason, always my mom will give me this chicken feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I started not to like Christmas. I'm like, wow, man, I wish, when can I have chicken meat breast or something versus chicken feet? I never understood that. My dad always got that chicken breast, right? The meaty part. Not until I came to United States years back, and I was sitting down, I was reflecting over my life and all my experiences. And I started to ask myself, why didn't I get the chicken breast? You know, why did I always get the chicken feet?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and something that John Maxwell said when, you know, I was reading one of his books, and then he said, in life, you don't always get what you want. You get what you deserve. And when I ponder on that quote, it makes sense to me that my father was the one who was working so hard. He was the one that was going, trying to find means for us to live. Mm-hmm. And it was fitting that when my mom cooked, that she gave him the meaty part of the chicken because he deserved it. He worked hard for it. On my end, I was just wishing. I wasn't working. I was wishing. I was wish and wish, but my wish never came to pass. I always got the chicken feet because that's all I deserve. See, there are people that they are poor today. There are people begging for money. There are people who are in need of money, but they're not going to get the money because it's only a wish. Mm-hmm. The people who get money, who get it, are people who deserve it. You see, when you go to work, you get paid because you deserve it. It's not a wish. You're not wishing to get paid.
No, you have to do a lot of stuff to get that money.
You know, if you show up 6 o'clock in the morning and you get up for 2, you don't have to wish you get paid. You will get paid. Your paycheck is coming, right? Mm-hmm. It's no longer wishing now. You deserve it. Mm-hmm. But there are so many people who are wishing that life would change. They wish their circumstances would change. They wish their finances would change. They wish their relationships would change. They wish that everything else would change, but it never does. But the moment you shift from wishing to deserving, everything around you starts to change. And I got that perspective.
You are blowing my mind right now because we are, you know, we've been doing a big push right now with our podcast because I really believe in getting information out. I can't tell you how many people we've talked to, and I'll tell you all these different stories. So we talked to one lady, and her aha moment was they had been wealthy. Her husband and they were at the top of their game. Husband gets diagnosed with a little spot. Then suddenly they say, oh, that isn't just a spot, it's metastasized to your liver. You have 6 months to live. And she had just quit this big prestigious job to be at home with the kids. Wow. So there they are, huge mortgage. All the money's going to medical bills. He beat it, by the way, he's fine. And a friend of theirs realizes they don't have a Christmas tree. They have nothing, right? So he comes over and he puts lights outside the house and he brings them a Christmas tree. And on the floor, they had a fax machine. So this was a while ago. And he said, hey, I need a fax machine. Are you using that fax machine? And she said, we're selling it on Craigslist for $50. And her husband comes in and the guy was a little offended. And she goes, I immediately realized I'm not a giver and I'm wrong for that. Here is this person showing this stuff to us. And my first thing is, I'm so poor, give me this. She said, when she switched her mindset, it was that started a change in her, that she said, I'm going to be more giving. I'm going to be more deserving.
Wow.
And when she did that, her story now, they have a network where they help real estate investors of 48,000 people. Absolutely. And her husband beat cancer. Talked to another guy, was down $2.5 million after being high on the hog in his early 20s. And he came to this point and he said, what would George Mueller do? Some obscure person from the 1800s. I need to look up that I was going to, and I forgot. But anyway, so he said that, and the guy was kind of crazy, and he went back to his team. He said, we have nothing, but we're going to give it all away. He said, you're nuts. Through a series of events that only wouldn't have occurred if he didn't start thinking to be more deserving.
Yeah.
He gets a tip. He goes back to the drawing board. Land he was unable to do anything with because they wouldn't give him the permits. He pitches this insane idea, and they said, that's the craziest thing we ever heard of, the Planning Commission. But guess what? You found a loophole. You can do what you want. And within 13 months of him deciding to be deserving, just what you just said, he got out of that debt completely and changed his life. This is a story that I'm hearing over and over, and I feel like the universe is telling me, how do I give more?
Absolutely. It's a universal law.
Yeah.
These laws cannot, I mean, they're inflexible. Just as much as if you stand on top of a 25-story building and jump, you don't go up, you go down.
Right.
It's the law of gravity. I was just teaching my son recently, and and one of the areas where we practice these is our home, and I have kids, and I think it's my job, it's my duty to teach them how to think like leaders, to teach them to think like entrepreneurs, so that they don't go out looking for a job or don't go out, trying to beg, but be deserving of the things that you want in life. And I was teaching him the other day. I have a next door neighbor, an elderly woman who lives by herself. And just when we moved in here, when we bought this house that I'm in, I realized that when her grass grows, she calls somebody else to come and cut the grass. And I went to her and I said, look, I'll cut your grass for you for free. You don't have to call this guy here anymore. Save that $30 that you've been paying. And every time I cut my grass, guarantee I cut your grass. No, you don't have to do it. No, I said, no, I will. Yes, I will. And she was, no. But I did it anyway. Cut the grass, and I cut her grass. And I kept doing that, and we became good friends. So just recently, my wife had to travel to Pennsylvania for some job training, and she was gone for 2 weeks, and I had some appointments and things like that. And I was trying to figure out, man, how am I going to get my kids to school? They all go to different private schools. And I needed somebody to pick them up and drop them off. And my head starts spinning,
Yeah.
Can I use Uber or can I call a friend? Everybody seems to be tied up, right?
Right.
So I was talking to the neighbor, and she was like, oh, Eugene, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. I'll pick them up. I'll take them. I'll drop them off. I'll feed them. Whatever you want. You don't have to worry about that. Go about your business.
Yeah.
And that made me feel so good. And I, and I thought about that. It's these laws that it's the law of reciprocity. It's don't ask for what you can get. Always be the one asking, how can I give? How can I help? How can I sow a seed? Because once you do that, it comes back in ways that you're not even anticipating it. And when I was caught in that jam, there she is. She came up and she did everything for that 2 weeks. She'd pick up my children early in the morning, drop them off, and pick them and drop them home. Because I first gave. And I think it's what John F. Kennedy says, don't ask what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And it's the same thing, when we go out, when we get out of that rut that we're in, and we believe in ourselves that we are God's highest form of creation. We have power, we have abilities, we have intuition, we have energy, we have wisdom, we are creative people. We're not stuck, we're not trapped. There's this creative mind inside of us that's looking for ways to express itself. We understand now there's a whole new awareness that begins to open up to us. And we realize that, wow, I never thought I could do that. Never thought I could do that. Yes, you can. All alone, you're sitting alone in your couch thinking, mowing, and groaning, you had the ability and the power to do it, to get it done.
That is both the most empowering thing and for some people the most terrifying thing, because they have limiting beliefs. And you probably come across that. You're coaching someone and they're like, well, I can't because I'm not smart enough. And why would you think you're not smart enough? And then you probe and you find out that some teacher in the 3rd grade called them stupid. And then another teacher or a friend, and those words stuck inside of them, and they've never said anything, but they've grown to believe that they're stupid. And therefore, it's their own voices back from these events that are limiting them and nothing else. And so I think it's fascinating that you can go out there and listen to these people and pick this out and go, that's not true. None of that is true. You are limitless. God loves you. And you have all this power. You are a powerful creature because we are imbued with that spirit. Don't listen to any of the negativity that says that you cannot. If you have a will and a way, you can.
You can.
You know? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Oh, we forgot to go to commercial. Okay. We're going to do a brief commercial and then we're going to come back. And then we are going to finish up this amazing conversation with Eugene Boakye. Wait, Boakye. I know.
Got it.
Right. I said it wrong. Okay, let's go to commercial, guys.
Attention real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Did you know that real estate investors are a primary target for lawsuits? According to the National Survey of the Court data, 25% of Americans risk being sued in their lifetime. However, if you are a real estate investor, you have a 95% chance of being sued in the next 20 years. Leafy Legal Services helps you protect your assets and strategically grow your business and wealth. Leafy Legal Services are experts at the Series LLC and Delaware Statutory Trust, two of the newest and most ideal legal structures for real estate investors. Leafy Legal Services have the most personalized and affordable solutions for setting up LLCs. Property owners are always at risk when it comes to their assets. Anonymity is so important. If you own just a rental house and you own your home, you have to protect yourself and your properties from any potential legal issues. Leafy Legal Services have the right solutions to make sure you are happy and feel secure. They offer cost-effective documentation that suits their clients' needs. For a free consultation and ebook, visit leafylegalservices.com. They are waiting to hear from you. leafylegalservices.com.
Okay, hey, we're back from commercial and we are here with Eugene Boakye. He is with the John Maxwell Team. He is a nationwide speaker, coach. He helps entrepreneurs break free and realize their dreams. And we're going to finish up now because we kind of went long because I forgot we needed to go to commercial. And I just wanted to ask you, Eugene, so anything that you want to share with how our audience, because I know probably everybody's like, I need to call this guy to help me. So how do they find you on the web to get you?
Well, my website is called johnmaxwellgroup.com.
johnmaxwellgroup.com, and they can just search for you, Eugene Boakye, and we will have all of his information, all of his links, folks, on everything. I keep on looking at my microphone, but nobody can see it. Okay, so I want you to tell me, there is an art of thinking into action and results. And you have spoken on this. This is one of the things that you do. And so I want the last thing you talk about is how, if you were to give anything to anyone listening to help them to go from thinking into action and results, how can they do that?
See, one of the things that I had to do was I had to change my thinking. I had a dream, but I was somewhere along the line, I was trapped, and I was trapped by my own thinking, my own self-disbelief, my own doubts, my own fears. See, I was trapped. Every time I go to do things that I love to do, my fear tells me I can't do it. The voice of other people drown my own voice. And I listened to that. And that kept me bound for years. And so what I would tell people is this: you know, there's a ancient word that says, to him that believe, all things are possible to them. It's our own beliefs that keeps us bound. The moment we understand that our thinking is what guides our lives, then everything changes. The way we think controls our lives. And James Allen said, for 8,000 years, all great philosophers have disagreed on just about everything, including religion, politics, philosophy, you name it. But there's one thing that all these great philosophers have agreed upon, and that is we become what we think. And there's another quote, and I don't know who said it, but he said, we become what we think about all day. I think it's Ralph Waldo. Mm-hmm. That the moment we realize that our thinking is what either keeps us poor or keeps us going in the right direction, then everything changes. The power of our mind, the power of our thoughts. Thoughts are powerful.
They are.
They are powerful. Just the other day, I was talking to this lady and she was going through some family, relationship issues. She went out on a date. And the next day she came in and she was talking to me because I was coaching her through some things. And I was telling her, look, your thoughts are powerful. Be careful what you think about because they are more than a laser beam. They communicate in your absence. They communicate in your presence. She said, yeah. She said, oh, Eugene, I know you've been telling me about this. Well, listen to this. She was, the day after her date, we were sitting in the car and she was getting ready to test him. She was thinking about him. Her thoughts were centered on him. So she was testing him and saying, hey, how you doing this morning? The moment she hit send, she got the same text message from him saying, how you doing? Because her thoughts was focused, engaged on him. He was thinking about her at the same time, and those thoughts clashed. And that's how powerful thoughts are. The moment I begin to vibrate on a different level, when I elevate my thought level, when I concentrate my thought level to a certain level, I connect with what I'm thinking about. So we are connecting right now because we are on the same wave level.
Yes.
I mean, you're in California, I'm in North Carolina.
No, Texas, I'm in Texas.
Texas, the only reason why we can talk to each other is because we are on the same frequency. We are connecting on a different level, on a different frequency. So when I'm here today and my dream is to become X in the future, I can't have this low level thinking because I have to raise my level of thinking to match where I want to be in the future, to connect, to start thinking on that level. And that wave, that level of thinking will drive me to where I want to be.
You know, I have a therapist who's a friend of mine. So we've worked together. We did a talk show together for 2 years. Her name's Tracy Becker. And that is very difficult. Some people are so embedded in negative thoughts, it just runs away. And then when you tell them you have to change their thoughts, they're like, they get nervous because they just have it constantly, the screaming monkeys in their head. And she said, okay, well, you start out small. You know, what happens if you're just depressed or you suffer from depression? Yeah. That means you'll never get better? No, it's not that. So this is just a test that I learned that's worked for me too. And it's really helped me. If you can't meditate, you know, people do a lot of different things. They meditate, they sit. One good exercise is you sit there and when you think about the life you want, what you want, don't think about the money. Yeah. Don't think about, I want $5,000 so I can buy this car. She goes, take the things out of it. So she said for 90 seconds, put a little timer, 90 seconds. That's all this takes. Think about how you feel. Picture yourself having the money that you need, having the partner that you need, with the friends, and you're with someplace you want to be. Maybe you're on vacation and you're reaching out for someone's hand. Picture how you feel when they look at you like, you are so smart. You are so beautiful. You are so wonderful. And you're looking at them thinking, gosh, you're so smart. You are so handsome. You are so wonderful. And then you meet people and they light up when they see you because they enjoy being in your company. And think about yourself, feel yourself laughing and thinking, I am so happy right now. By the time you do that for 90 seconds, she goes, then you stop, you go about your day. She goes, get into feeling, even if it's for 90 seconds, in that place, those feelings. She said, the power of that will connect you to God in the universe. And you can say, God, let me feel like that. Let me be the best, happiest me. I will do anything to get to that place. And she said that will help. And I feel like, and I forget, I'll go like whole, months, with just, I'm busy. And then every now and then I'll go, man, I need to recenter myself because I'm feeling sad. Yeah.
Yeah. It's powerful. What you just talked about is powerful because we are taught what to think and not how to think. Everybody listening to you today, no matter where they are, I don't care where they are, they can have whatever they want.
Yes.
Whatever they want, they can have it. And it all starts in the mind. The best description I found is to think of your mind as a garden, a fertile garden. It doesn't care what you plant in it. It will produce whatever you plant. If you plant poison, it will produce poison of its kind. If you plant apple, it will produce apple of its kind. But it doesn't care what you plant. And that's the power of your mind. So if I want apples, I want to make sure that I'm planting apple seeds and not banana seeds in my mind because it will produce equal kind. So people don't understand this because they don't understand the power between your subconscious and your consciousness. See, God gave us all this intellect, right? Our feeling, our smell, touch, smell. This is what we connect with this world, this tangible world. But the real part of you is that the other part, the intuition, the emotion, the feeling. And this is what drives our lives. So when you think about a dog, well, your subconsciousness is going to bring that picture back in your forefront because that's where you store all your data. Now, if I was a baby living in Africa and somebody adopted me and took me to China, I would grow up speaking Chinese over there because that's all I know. That's all I know. It doesn't matter where I grew up. If I was born here and somebody adopted me into China, I would speak Chinese perfectly, no problem, because that's what I'm recording in my subconsciousness. And most people, they want to go here, but the people they're hanging around with, the message that they're hearing is contrary to where they want to go. And your subconsciousness cannot get you. It's contradictory to the law. You can't plant apple seeds and expect potatoes to grow up.
Right.
So
okay. We're going to have to, I could talk about this for weeks on end.
Absolutely, right?
Right. Okay. But we've got to let it go. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to bring Eugene back on because there's like a whole other stuff that we're going to have to go through. So anyway, this is, okay. So Tammy's going to take us away. She'll give you all the links, how to get to Eugene Boakye. And he is with the John Maxwell Team. You go to johnmaxwellteam.com and that's how you find him. Let me make sure it's John Maxwell Team real quick. It's John Maxwell.
They can go to johnmaxwellgroup.com.
johnmaxwellgroup.com or johnmaxwellteam.com. That's right. Okay, so either way, you're looking for Eugene Boakye, Boatye. Okay, spell it right.
K-Y-E.
Okay, that's right. Boatye, right?
K-Y-E.
Okay. Okay, man. I know it's Boakye. I will get it right. Okay, so Tammy's got to do it because I'm messing it up.
Thank you so much, Eugene, for being with us. And I will have everything in the show notes, so everyone will be able to find you there. And thank you, Jennifer, again, for hosting today. We had a really great time with both of you, and Eugene's message has been very inspiring. So I will have lots of that in our show notes. And also, if you have any questions that you would like me to pass on to Eugene, go ahead and email me at Tammy, T-A-M-M-Y, at leafylegalservices.com, and I will relay the message to Eugene. We can also bring your message on to the show if you would like us to say anything, a shout out, any of that. Please just let me know in an email, and I will be sure to return the email and also broadcast what you'd like. If you have any other guests that you would love to have on the show, please also email me. And you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube. Any way you'd like to listen, we'll be there. And thank you again for joining us on Leafy Podcast, and we will see you next time. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.